Hey guys, Kirk from the Forever Homestead. It's snowing outside. It's not too cold. We just went through a bit of a warm spell, but inside the bunkie, the fires are going. Let's get this wall finish on. So I was in the barn yesterday. We got all this. I think it was 6 sheets of 1/4-inch plywood. We got it all cut down to a little less than 6 inches. It's like 5 3/4 or something like that. We're not 100% sure on how we're gonna finish it. I think we might just do like a whitewash, but we might end up just painting it or something like that. At this point, it's kind of, yes, we want it to look beautiful, and, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Thanks, Grandpa. But it's also, this isn't our house. This is a bunkie that we're going to live in for, about a year, maybe 8 months, 6 months, something like that. And then we'll be in the house. But this will be a rental, and a cottage rental up here in where we are, and we want it to. We want people to want to keep coming back to it. So we want to make it look nice. But yeah, I'm going to get set up and start getting this on, and then I'll show you what I'm doing and what the process is. needs to go down some. So I'm just using a penny as my spacer, just to keep the space consistent. The boards are actually a little bit warped, or not warped, they kind of have a bow in them. I'm assuming it's from the method I used to cut them. I just stacked them all and used a skill saw with a flat edge to do it, but there must have been some bow. It is only 1/4 inch ply, so it's not really the strongest stuff, but so basically I just start at the edge and work my way down and try to maintain my spacing there. That looks like it's a little bit more than I think. This board's going the wrong way. I think there's a bow to the wood, so I find that it's helping if all of the bows go the same way. Makes it easier to maintain that space. Yeah, that makes it more even. Okay, so I have it up around the window now. And then, so my plan is here. I'm going to do, it's about 5.5 inches on the sides here, and the top. And on the bottom, I'm going to make it about 6.5 inches, so it actually sticks out about 1 inch past the finished edge here. We're trying to complete the inside of the bunkie without spending a whole lot. So what we're going to do for the windowsills is I have a whole bunch of barn board. And if you don't know where the barn board came from, you should binge watch our channel. So we have a lot of scrap from the barn, the shipping container barn. So I'm going to use quite a bit of that in here for different projects. But one of the ones I'm going to use is for around the window. So the window casement and probably the trim. I might like router up the edges and make it a little bit pretty, but not really thinking that far ahead yet. So I'm going to try to cut some of this up. And I'll show you as I go. So there is the sill of the window. You can see it kind of hangs over about 1 inch. So I'm just going to finish this, cut it up around here and around the edge here. It still needs a hole or sanding and the brad nail holes filled. And then on the sides now, basically from this edge, which is about 5.5 inches out. I'll finish that so it's flush with the wall all the way around, and then I can trim out around the window. Oh, I got the back wall almost finished up. Just got to figure out what I'm going to do along the top there. I think a lot of it's going to be covered from the loft and a bed on the back wall, but I'll wait until I get a little bit more done to figure it out. Around the window, I ended up pulling the first one that I did out, the sill here. Made this one a little bit longer. The walls are, because it's a shipping can, the walls kind of, they're bent and dinged and all that kind of stuff. So it's not, the cut is not exact. It's good along the edge here and all the way up. But when I trim the window out, I'm going to put on like a 2-inch, sorry, dark there. I'm going to put on like a 2-inch trim, and that'll cover this up as well, so the gap behind here won't show when I trim it out. But I might hold off on putting the trim on until I get the loft built so I don't bang it all up. So this morning I've got the fire started. It's not too cold, it's about 0 degrees in here, so it's just at freezing. But on this, so today I gotta do a little bit of cleanup. Some of this stuff I'm gonna put up in the loft because I still have a little bit of insulation to do up there. I'm gonna pull all the garbage out of here, and then I'm gonna use up the rest of the shiplap today and finish this wall up. You can see a little bit of a tape line on the floor right there. That's where the loft ends. So I want to finish up at least to the window, but my plan today, because it's nice out, I can pull out table saws and stuff like that. I want to finish the shiplap up to at least where that is. I might even throw in my rough water lines and move it down a little bit more. Because then with the table saw out, I can do the casement for this window as well. And then all that stuff's done. We still do need to pull some skids apart and get this wall started. So when I build the loft out of these 4x4s, we can screw it to the wall and it not be in the way of anything. But I will check back in with you in a little bit. Okay, so we are almost halfway up this long wall here. Got the receptacle cut out. The countertop is going to start basically at the window here. I thought of it a little bit too late. There's no point putting this behind where the cabinetry is going to be. So I probably should have stopped that one over here, but that's the space where the fridge will pull out. So, you know, when you pull out the fridge, it'd be nice to see a finished wall. I think, in the interest of not running out of this stuff, I think I might just put some cheap plywood behind where the cabinets are, because you're not going to see it anyway. They can get painted or whatever. You're not going to see it. The counter height will be just underneath that receptacle, all along there and over that wall. I think on top of the counter I have some old tiles from our previous house and stuff, just, you know, odds, or just a few of them. So I might see if I can do a tiled backsplash on that. There's going to be a shelf above it, about where that wire comes out. There's going to be a shelf to put our plates and stuff on. It'd be nice if I could do like a tile or something like that for that complete area, so it's easy to wipe down. And then I'll come up with something above that as a finish. I might continue with this stuff, but right behind it, you know, all the little grooves, all the little, like the lines there, you know, they're about, well, they're exactly the distance of a penny, because that's what I'm using to space them. And around the kitchen area, it's just going to get filled with gunk and food and all that, so I want to keep that as clean as I can there. I have to go find some electronic parts. This wire here is for an auxiliary, like a cigarette lighter type thing. So I need to go find that so I can drill the hole out on the shiplap when I put it on there. But it's coming along. Should have enough cut here to finish this wall, which will be good around the windows and all that. So that should be, sorry, there was something going on outside, I didn't know what it was. So yeah, I'll work a little bit more. I'm gonna go take a quick lunch break and I'll be back. Alright, so we've got quite a bit done today. It's getting to that time of day when I'm making a lot of ridiculous mistakes. For instance, there's an outlet right on the wall there, and it's pretty easy, you know, like I've cut 4 or 5 of them out, but in this case I've cut 2 of them out and they're both wrong, so I moved on from that and I started to do my window casement, and cut the whole thing out. Spent I don't know, an hour, 45 minutes cutting it all out, and brought it back here and realized I cut it all backwards, so I had to redo that. So I feel like it's kind of one of those things, you know, quit while you're ahead. So I've just got a little bit left up here to finish up. I might tinker away at that a little bit. I'd really like to have this up to this section here. I'd like to have that done because I need that and this wall behind me here done so I can start working on the loft. But yeah, it's the hard thing about working in a bunkie sometimes is the mess, right? Like it's, it's not, I know construction mess, these are a little bit wet, I just brought them in. Construction mess, but it's a little bit of mess in a bunkie quickly turns into no room to work. So it'd be nice when if it was some warmer weather and I could move my stuff back outside, but we work with what we have. So I'll work a little bit more on this, and then I will check back in with you. Hey guys, Sunday today, so a little bit of a change of pace. I still have to finish the wall up above there, right up there, but I didn't feel like it today. So I've decided to start on the skid wall. The skid wall, funny name for it. It's not a bad process. We went down to our local Home Hardware. Thanks, Paul. And he gave us a bunch of old skids. They're more, for the most part, they're ratty and gray and broken, and that's kind of the look we're going for. They're just in a giant pile. Jess and I had to, climb around in the snow and dig through them all. But once we have them all, it's just a matter of pulling nails out. As carefully as you can without snapping all the boards in half. Like I say, some of them are pretty rough and split, but that's the look we're going for. So I started it here on the wall. It's like putting a puzzle together, basically. For each row, you want to make sure they're the same width as much as possible. And also going for, different shades, different colors. Trying to keep as much of, like the nail holes and stuff, you could cut them out. And butt the two pieces together so you don't see those. But I just feel like it adds character to the wall. And like it is, when if you have a smooth side and a rough side, I usually am trying to put the rough side out just because I like the look of it. Once it's all done, we'll probably put like a satin clear coat on it. Probably like just a really rough sand to get rid of some of the splinters and stuff on it. But for the most part, we're trying to keep that look. You can see on this one here, like it's slightly raised compared to the other ones, just a thicker wood. So we have some more of that stuff that I'll try to do the same thing with, maybe a couple of them wide, or, sorry, lost you there. A couple of them wide maybe, just to change the look. But on this side here, I didn't put any, seems to be fogging up. I don't know if you can see it there. The joys of cameras in the winter. Yeah, so on this side, there isn't barn board what are these things called? Skids. Those aren't going there. It's going to be the same as this side. So I've got some more scrap barn board there that I'll cut to fill in that space and all the way around the top. And then we'll transition to the barn board, or to the skids. And the skids are going to go all the way down to there. Right now I've got a few more here that I pulled apart this morning. That's probably the equivalent of 3 or 4 skids between that and what's on the wall here now. And I think we got like 15 or 16 of them. I do plan on using some more of these skids down on the top of that wall, and then but we'll get into that another time. So right now I'm going to finish off these probably, and I'm trying to get to around that roll of wire. I can't really continue past that until I figure out where that's going to stick through. And that, in case you remember or forget our electrical video, the wall post is going to go right about here. The loft is going to go up. And I want to build the loft first so I can know exactly the height that has to come out. That is the cable for our light in the master bedroom here. So I need to get the wall height and get the floor joists on, so I can run that through the couple of layers of, I'm not sure how I'm going to finish yet, plywood probably on the bottom or something, but I want to run that through the floor cavity, I guess. But I'll get a few more on here, and then we'll see where that gets us up to. So we've got our skid wall up to where those cables are now, which means now I can move on to start doing some of the loft build, the 4x4s and stuff like that, getting this front wall built. We need to do that before we can actually finish up with this wall. So I'm going to get cutting on these 4x4s, but there'll be more about that next time. Until then, have a good one.